Now.
Better believe I'm keeping that in.
I'm always the one that starts talking first.
Yeah, I know. I just gotta sit here and wait until you say something.
Until I say something a little bit early.
Yeah. Always the one to initiate.
I'm like nauseous in this room right now.
It's a lot of light for someone who has a migraine.
Yeah. You'll get good clips of my... Ew.
Oh, God. That was supposed to be
That's getting clipped for
yeah.
sure. Just a 10-second
That was
clip.
supposed to be the Italian. Not...
Want to play a game?
Face. Uh-oh.
Want to play a game? 10 seconds.
I don't know
Just
that
do the most clippable thing you can possibly do.
No, because you put me under the
TikToks?
gun like that. No, wait, just cringe?
Cringe challenge. So it'll be like a group of friends and they line up, right? Like you can't see the guy behind. So they go up to the camera and do this 3-second thing that's like super cringe, and then the guy behind them goes and does it. It's like a cringe off, and it's so funny. Like
I don't think
it hurts a little bit to watch those.
I think I gotta like prepare for that. Like I can't be like put under the gun to do something cringe, funny, anything, because then I'm just like,
yeah.
And maybe that does something cringe in its own, but like,
yeah, you don't have to do too much to be cringe.
Wow, thanks. That's story of my life.
Oh man. What happened last week?
I don't even remember what happened last week. Yeah, why don't we talk about your week? Because you did have a pretty aggressive and impressive end to the week.
Yeah, it was a lot happened last week. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a great week because of everything that happened. There was some there was some like family stuff that happened as well that I won't get into here. Like a passing. So like that wasn't a great start to the week, that whole situation. But we won't, again, let's move on from that. Other things though, I mean, it was just it was one of those weeks. So I get into these, and similar to you, where I know when I need to capitalize on my headspace, right? So I go through these like down periods, and I go through these up periods. 0, 100, 0, 100. Yes. I heard someone put it last week. I was talking to someone, and she put it in a way that really resonated with me. And now I'm forgetting the term. Oh God, executive function. Sorry. And she kind of, I don't even remember what she said, but to me in my brain, it like equated the amount of executive function you have at your disposal to like a battery kind of thing. And like, now I know when the battery is full and when you've got to like absolutely action on, you have the capability to do that versus when you're in a low and you don't. So anyways, carry on. 100%. Yeah. I've gotten better with age of knowing I'm in one of those high function modes. So about a week or so ago, if you go back a month, maybe I was kind of in mid function. I would say I was in that transitory period where I kind of felt like, okay, things are starting to change, and then I felt that high that you feel. Yeah. You almost know when like the gears are winding up too. Yeah, it was like going to Vancouver and after Vancouver for like 2 weeks. Yeah, I felt a real high in my life where I needed to do things, and I was like, I need like you can feel the energy. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't like play video games. I needed to do things and create something, and so I felt the energy. And last week was a big, starting the week before that, I was like, I am peak right now, full battery, full everything. I need to do things and make big decisions. So I sold my condo.
Big decision.
It was a really big decision, and it played out like. So my strategy with selling my condo was, as most condos, there's a direct comparable probably on the market or that just recently sold, right? So there's not too much you can do there. Now I know mine, I did a little bit more work, significant more work than the other condos. They're 10, 12-year-old condos with builder grade flooring, laminate flooring that's not in the best shape at this point, or like some things here and there, older appliances.
Like I've been through your building a few times, and I haven't seen any other units in the building, but I would never even think that it was a 10, 12-year-old condo from your unit specifically. Yep, it doesn't give off that vibe at all.
Not at all. And comparable to what was out there. There's a lot out there right now, and condo inventory is increasing. Right. I believe, check the numbers. I haven't looked at the exact numbers, but there was a lot of other properties out there. So I knew that listing mine. So one thing with condos, and I've seen this before, I don't know why people do this, but they don't take professional photos.
Any listing. I mean, barring like some hoarder house or something, right? But like, it always drives me so insane.
It's the bare
when
minimum.
It's like some Nokia cell phone photo, or like, I mean, that's the worst, but it costs you $200.
Yeah.
And it makes your unit look, your house, your whatever
way
look
better.
10 times better.
Matterports.
It's literally the bare minimum.
I think Matterports, and maybe it's because I'm from the younger generation, so are you, is if there's a property with a Matterport, oh my God, it is so much easier to actually like the property. It looks way better.
I can get invested before I even walk through the door.
Before I walk through the door, I send it to my clients. They see it. I had a conversation with a new listing I have coming up on McRoberts, and by the time this is out, it's probably live already. And they were saying the same thing. They're like, when we look at properties, if we can see a video walkthrough or Matterport, it's like 50%, 80% more likely to actually action on it and move forward on it, because it's so much more. So I did all that stuff. I went the extra mile, really cleaned my place, and to give me some credit, I do. I think my design choices are pretty good. It's not
your self-staging / just the way you live is pretty staged. Like it looks
staged.
nice.
Yeah. I'm not like a sloppy mid-late 20s guy.
Quality Pinteresting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've never Pinterested before, but Pinterest.
That's impressive then.
Yeah, that's just my style, man. It's just the way I roll. My mom was really like into that stuff growing up, and I was like, I don't know, maybe it was my OCD and
just
all that
design.
Stuff. I'm just like, things have to be perfect.
Yeah.
So,
when I'm like, if I'm prepping for someone to come do photos or something at a listing,
I was cleaning stuff I didn't even realize needed to be cleaned in my apartment. And I sat there cleaning,
tuck the drapes in a specific way, and like do the pillow chop.
Oh yeah, everything, cleaning every inch. So that was fun. But yeah, it worked out. Got 2 offers within 24 hours, and I was listed at the top of the market.
That's crazy these days. That genuinely is quite nuts. The fact that, like earlier you said, active week, made a decision and sold my condo. We're talking about 1 week span of time. That's very crazy.
It was a very active week, very hyper focused. And the story of it selling. So here's a story I'll share, I guess. One of my rules of giving. What's the word? And sorry, I'm battling a migraine right now, so my brain is half here, right? Yeah,
just attacking you.
But like a rule of thumb that for advice that I give clients is never, as a seller, never sign back a property overnight. This is 95% true, unless there are situations where it happens, and I get it. And if it's a slow, or if you're listed, much higher than market value, there are reasons to do this. But overall, I never like to lock in a property as a seller, especially if you're negotiating with a buyer. Just wait until the morning or get it done that night. Strike while the iron's hot is like my whole thing. What did I do with the first offer I got? I signed it back overnight, right? Until lunchtime.
Right.
I fought back. I told the agent no, and then I was sitting there. I was like, you know what? They got me an offer within like 4 hours of me listed. Let me try to work on it and just wrap this up, right? So let me kind of hold off on it. And then the next day, I get a call and someone's interested while it's locked up. And I was like, oh crap, okay. Like there might be a potential thing, but I couldn't do anything because it was already signed back. So moral of the story, be careful when that happens because there is that. I was like, what are the odds of this happening in the morning, somebody coming, seeing and offering? And it was very close to actually happening. I mean, the person then came, the other offer didn't work out. They didn't want to go up. And the other person was like, yeah, screw the other offer. I'll take this. And and get a deal done. So
that helps to add some pressure on the second guy's side, because that's literally like active offers already within a day.
Yeah. And negotiation wise, it did kind of help, because I was like, look, I can work with this other offer because it's not far off. It wasn't far off. It was pretty close. It wasn't like an offer that was like, get out of here. I'm not even entertaining. It was close enough.
When they come in that quick, I'm sure it's not garbage.
So I was like, it's pretty good. You're going to have to blow them away. And we're not talking, by $50, right? Like there's a reason that I'm going to try to make something else work, and you have to make it worth my while. And I'm happy who it's gone to. I think they're going to actually really enjoy it, because I love the condo. Like, there's nothing about it that I didn't like, right? It's not that I was hating on it. It was just this was my plan. 2 to 4 years. Now's the time to exit, I think, and now flip that money into an investment property. And
good timing for that.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah. And I mean, how about you? How was your week?
Not that eventful. Jeez, that's a hard to follow.
Yeah.
What did I do? Nothing crazy. Had some showings, did some things, had a couple offers, nothing panned out. A lot of like back and forth. It's funny. People are being kind of stubborn these days, depending on what it is. And I think there's one that's still live that could be a thing. We were like, it's really frustrating when you're not competing with anybody and you still can't come to terms within 10 grand. That's not fun. But I think that one might still have some life to it. I think the seller might realize that
10 grand
might not be able to put that together. Yep. So they had an offer. They got one super low ball. We came in at a decent price, and then I think the agent and the seller were kind of, this happened to me twice last week actually. The agent and the seller just really didn't line up. Like the listing agent and the seller on what the client wanted / would have taken. The first time it was 200 grand off, which was crazy. But I think it was a last minute thing that happened on the seller side. It was like they're just like, there was 2 offers.
Our mortgage upped, and now we have all
something.
This debt,
yeah, something happened. Like the agent had to go pick them up to bring. Like, and the agent was kind of blindsided by this too. We had an offer in. We were like, this can work. This can, like, back and forth. There was a good rapport with the agent and I. We're talking throughout the day. It's older sellers, so he has to pick the clients up to bring them to his office to sit down and like sign the paperwork. He doesn't want to do that if it's going to be completely waste of his time, right? You can have the conversation over the phone if you're 200 grand off.
Yeah.
So we're all like, this is great. We're set. I get a call back and he's like, something happened. It's personal. I'm not going to tell you what it is. But they're not going to be able to make anything work unless it's this number, which was 200 grand higher. Do you think your guys are willing to come up? I'm like, get fucked. Like, not that aggressive, but like, no, obviously there's no way this happens.
I don't know.
There's no world.
Then
it was terminated the next morning, and it hasn't come back yet.
Was it a big agent in the neighborhood, or?
Yeah.
Really?
No, he's a reputable guy.
Really?
And it's not like a guy, and even the conversation we had leading up to it, I think I've talked to him before on a couple listings. Never done a deal with him, but reputable guy. I'll tell you who it is afterwards.
Yeah.
And not like, I didn't feel like it was a game. Like he really felt blindsided by the info, and then the fact that the listing was terminated like the next morning and still hasn't showed back up. This is over a week later, or about a week later at this point.
It shows that it's just completely
something happened, and he knows he's not going to get that number, right? Like, he barely got the number that we got it for him. Anyways, it was interesting. And then we worked on a listing. So we've got an exclusive listing coming up, or exclusive listing at the moment live, and then new listing coming up. Probably it'll be early days, so like around the time this comes out, maybe a couple days after, maybe same day. I think we're gonna try and keep it exclusive for a bit longer. We've got a decent network of people that I think might work well for
an investor that's willing to go and put in a little bit of work. Is it vacant right now, or
no? It's tenanted, but it's single family. I think it's really good for like the house hacker type. Good location, close to Bloor, smaller lot, no parking, but it's just. It's the classic like semi 2-story, right? Yeah. But it's tenanted as single family. So if you move in and then you wanted to chop units up, you've got some good income coming out of there. I got a sign call too. Met a guy this morning from the sign call.
How did that go?
It was good. It was random. It was so random. He lives on a couple streets over. He did a build over there, and he's like a developer. And I'm like, okay, just such a unique few scenarios.
Semi-detached.
Yeah, well, I've heard this before too, and like a lot of big trades, they'll want to keep their guys busy, like construction companies, like bigger construction companies will want to keep their guys busy during downtime. Or in the case of this, he does larger development projects, condo builds in the area. It's got a couple like 3-figure condo builds in other area. I'm not going to start naming things, but outside of the city, and then some stuff inside the city. But they're all waiting for like site plan approval, right? So this is a ton of money sunk into a project, and then you wait potentially years for that project to even take off the ground, and then years further for you to actually cash out of that project, right? And in the meantime, he's like, well, a quick flip would be nice so I could like pay my bills, right? Like in the meantime, he's got rentals in the area already, and I'm like, I think this works good as a rental, but I understand also like a rental isn't going to be the one that necessarily pays your bills.
Yeah.
If you need to do a quick flip, cash out for something that can kind of keep you floating in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Then we're taking off for a week to Ottawa to go relax.
Do you think anything's going to come from that sign call?
I don't know if this deal something will come from it, but we were talking about other stuff of his in the neighborhood, and just in general, I think it's a cool guy to know.
Yeah,
he's in our hood. He does similar stuff. I don't know. Good relationship either way. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the deal will pan out that way, but it'll sell. I think it'll sell in a heartbeat when it hits the market either way. Like it's going to be such a.
I think so.
At the price point, under $1 million in where it is.
It should be very price point's huge these days. Yeah, like even being $100,000, which is a lot of money, but over where a good deal territory is.
Yeah. It kills you.
It's going to
people just don't look at it.
Yeah, especially if it's renovated beautifully and it's like perfect for an end user, you can still kind of target and be a little bit more aggressive and leave room for negotiation.
I think there's some pockets like it's still Toronto. It's still fairly exclusive real estate. There's not a ton of supply, and if you have like the best looking house on the street, you're still probably going to have a lineup of people that are wanting to see the place. But if you have kind of a junker and you're wildly overpricing it, you're just not going to get anyone through the door.
No, even slightly overpricing.
Yeah, even these days, even slightly overpricing it. Exactly.
The worst house on the street. It's not working very well. And
no.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Now I guess it's 50-50 if the rates keep increasing, which will be next week now. Next week.
Yeah, next week.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. This whole time I haven't known. So.
The Bank of Canada doesn't know. Most people don't know.
Yeah.
When Sam said it this morning, I think this is the 12th rate hike since when did we start the rate hikes? 2022, March 2022. We're not even 18 months past that point, and almost as many rate hikes. That is, what a wild ride it's been. Anyways,
unprecedented.
Really, it really is. Anyways, let's change topic. Something more exciting.
To what?
Our new mayor. Olivia Chow. I think we called it last week. I mean, I think it was not a hard race to call.
No, it was
close.
Well, like sort of.
The finished votes were kind of funny to look at though, because then you see like the fact that there was 100 and some odd candidates, and you look at there was two people that were obviously in contention, right? Yeah. Anna and Olivia Chow, and then everybody else. I got a real good kick out of looking at like what's his face Gong. Like I think he had like 3,000 votes.
Yeah.
But like the dollar, just the marketing dollar per vote.
It was like $1,000 per vote.
Yeah,
like
rough. Maybe a good write off. I don't know how.
Oh, I wanted to pick up one of his signs and bring it in here. we should add it to the background.
I'll grab Reginald Tull. That guy's all over. Every time I get off the highway and I'm like driving up, fucking all over the place.
Did he get any votes?
I think it was like 1,000, 1,500, something like that.
Brad Bradford didn't get that many.
No, he was like 6, 8, something like that. Not even like it's such a huge.
He would have got my vote. But
I think he was still 5th of like 100.
He would have got my vote, but I just knew he wouldn't win.
No, it was so wildly off.
So, it was a 2-man race.
Who else was funny?
2-woman race.
Two-people race. 2-person race.
Sorry about that.
Canceled. What's the guy's name with the teeth? Chrissy Teeth.
Oh yeah,
he was like 8th place, which was scary.
But he's still like 1,000 votes.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the like.
I can get 1,000 votes if I ran for mayor, no problem. Like I honestly don't think I'd have an issue.
Which is crazy because there was probably like real politicians that have been doing this like for life that had like 500,
all their friends 600. And family. That's
yeah, exactly.
Because no one else would vote for them. Like especially like the only one in that situation that it was positive with the amount they got is Brad Bradford because he's young. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
And he has so much time.
Thanks, Gary.
He's got so much time, and he. This is just perfect. It's just exposure at this point.
This actually was because he did a lot of like the press talks and things. Like he did a lot,
and he does good.
He does good for his ward, like as a counselor.
Yeah,
I got to meet them both this weekend. Bradford and Chow, sort of meet them kind of in our local East York parade.
Yeah,
it was cool. Sort of. Olivia Chow comes out. We're all like, "Is that Olivia Chow? Oh my god, it's Olivia Chow! Oh my god, that's our mayor!" Ah! And the kids are like, "Who the fuck is that? Why
I have a picture with her back.
Why are you all freaking out?
back one of the World Cups when Germany was facing Argentina and they won. I don't know what year that was, 2016, 2014. I don't know. I have a picture with her. She was just there. I was watching on the street.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, she was just there. And I was like, hey, with the German flag. It was just
nice.
So random.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a mayor. They come and go.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
It'll
be interesting.
We'll see what actually happens.
The whole, how much our taxes raise. I know people are like screaming from the rooftops right now that, oh my God, the taxes are going to go up 50% or 25% or something. They'll probably go up, and they'll probably go up maybe more than they usually do, probably by a fair bit. But there's also a good bit for them to go up. The Toronto property taxes are dramatically lower than the rest of the GTA.
I saw a chart that it was.
Oh, we're so. If you look at like the same house in Oshawa, value wise, not even like they've got a little more land, sure, but like value for value, it's probably double. Newmarket, GT, like York Region, it's like we have. I mean, the density helps, I guess, but we have by far the lowest property taxes. I think.
Our land use is much better though than those other cities. Like they need to be higher because they're so spread out that they're getting actually a very poor return.
Yeah, I think there's always been that's been a really easy justification for why in the past.
Yeah, you're paying more taxes because you need to drive 15 minutes to get a bottle of water. Like, have fun. Yeah. My bone to pick with the suburbs has not gone away at all. I don't know. It's this one YouTube channel.
Got a little bit of that. I saw.
Oh man, it's like really pissing me off.
And it's funny. We keep talking about this, and then I see like there's a family member of mine. I'll leave it at that. Married in, who's very anti-Trudeau, anti-Chow, anti-bike lane. Like there was multiple posts. Anyway, I get this. I'm scrolling on TikTok and I get one of those like user blah blah blah, the person you might know kind of thing, and I'm like, oh, and it's an anti like Trudeau thing.
Yeah.
And then I think it was an anti-bike lane thing. I think it was about Olivia Chow, and then like, oh my God, the world's over. She's in the whole fucking thing is gonna blow up. She's gonna ruin everything. She's communist China. Blah blah. I'm like, oh my fuck, relax. And then I start going through the rest of his feed, and I was like, oh, bike lanes, and he talks shit about 15-minute cities and the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, I'll show you later. It'll piss you off.
My blood's boiling. Bike lanes are the best thing for a city, but even my family members, they don't they don't agree with it.
Actually,
for the most part,
there's
they
another
don't
one.
like bike lanes.
Bike lanes came up this weekend. My parents have a Canada Day party usually because their street shows the fireworks really well, and that came up again on the weekend. More relating to as a contractor trying to access the core for big projects, and I kind of understand that.
Yeah, it's tough. For sure.
And it getting worse. And then the time he left, it took him like 4 hours to get home. But people.
That's fine.
You have to.
Guess what? You gotta
be.
You know what?
Here.
You know what he could do
to understand and appreciate it.
Move to the city, not live on a farm.
No, I think that. Well, okay, it's not a farm. Relax. I think the
farms are good. I have nothing wrong with it.
The funny thing there was, I think they couldn't find a lot of people. And I don't want to be pro either direction. I think bike lanes are a better idea, absolutely, for the city and transit. But I think I found it funny that I think this was more a cost of living thing, not bike lane related. Mm-hmm. But they had to go so far outside the city to actually find someone that could do that specific job. It was more engineering related, like for a specific project. Then they could find someone downtown in the financial district or something to just drive over there and access. So I think there's pros and cons, I'm sure, but I think the pros very, very heavily outweigh the cons. And if there's bike lanes installed, it's not the end of the world or communist China coming to ruin your city.
It's really tough to cycle downtown. And again, like, this goes back. I've probably talked about this like 20 times on the podcast, but I mean, it used to be all parking lots down there.
Yeah.
Nobody was walking anywhere. Now everybody's walking everywhere. I was there on the weekend. I rode my bike from North York down the Don Valley to Harborfront. There were thousands of people everywhere walking around and everything. And it was great. And then you realize, though, you're walking, you walk north and you walk under the terrible highway we have. And it's like falling apart, the QEW, and it's just like, it looks disgusting. And you're walking under this bridge. It's not inviting. There's cars everywhere. And there was one light. It took me like 4 minutes across the street. And I'm
like Lakeshore Gardner.
On Young. I'm going north on Young from Harborfront, right from
the
souvlaki place there. It's like legendary. It's always there.
Okay.
It's been there forever. So you're going like where the Westin Hotel is, right? The water.
Okay.
And you're passing, 10 Young, 18 Young,
but
those buildings.
Any of those north, south, like any that crossing under the Gardner is brutal.
It's brutal. It's not walkable. And then you cross the street, and even then it's brutal. And you cross that, and then again it's brutal. And it's like, well, yeah, it took me 15 minutes to walk what should have taken me 5.
You cross to like the mid road.
Yeah.
And then you have to cross the next lane.
And then you cross again. And then there's cars coming nonstop. And then it's just such a stupid way to build a city. Like, how is that? How is that efficient?
Cars are only so
tunnels or anything.
Cars are only so tall. Couldn't they just build like a secondary
little ramp?
Yeah, I guess for accessibility, but like you still have the
money wise accessibility.
Ugh,
but it should. Yeah, you're right. That would solve a major issue of how do we get these people across as fast as possible? Because I get the cars need to go. I get it. Yeah. But so do the people.
Yeah.
Right. And now there's so many people living there, and I had my bike with me, and there's a bike lane, and I'm not riding in that bike lane. Are you kidding me? There's cars just whizzing by.
Oh, no.
There's these F-250s.
Yeah.
Just parked right beside.
Those are the contractors trying to get out of town.
6 inches away from the bike lane. No, thank you. I'll ride on the sidewalk. Like, obviously.
I'll walk
and everybody I pass on the sidewalk, I'm like, sorry, I'm not supposed to be here. I'll get off, whatever. And they're like, hey, like, that's fine. I'm not going to be on the road either there, right? Like, so.
It's a bad, whatever.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks when a city's like so heavily dependent on cars, because people who drive, myself included, like to complain about traffic. You are traffic.
Yeah.
The fact that you're driving is traffic. That's what you're creating the issue, right? Like, that's like smoking cigarettes and being like, oh, I hate that my lungs kind of hurt. Of course they hurt. You're smoking a cigarette. Like, of course you're stuck in traffic. You're driving. Anyways, there's so much better ways around it.
Quality rant. No, that was a good rant to end on.
Yeah. All right.
Spiro's migraine rants.
What's going to go on next week?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh. Clip it.